Hey everybody, Jeff Schneider here. Got something a little bit different for you today. Trying out a podcast style episode. Want to know what you guys think about it, so I'm posting it up here on YouTube. Not sure if I'm going to go forward with the podcast, but just something I've been thinking about, like everybody else. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Also, stay tuned at the end of this audio. There's going to be another announcement where I come back with this face. See you soon. So I'm in the band room in high school, hanging out after class with my friend Chris, and I'm sitting at the piano, and I play a random note, and he tells me what it is. And then I play another note, and he tells me what that note is. And it was then that I realized he has perfect pitch, and I hadn't actually encountered anyone who had that before, and I was kind of mesmerized, and a bit jealous. Later on in high school, I went to the summer music program at Berklee in Boston, where a bunch of great musicians were at, some really, really great players, and a few of them had perfect pitch. And I would ask them, how do you do it? What is it like? Do you hear the pitches in a certain way? Did you figure this out somehow? And everyone just gave me this ambiguous answer. They said, I don't know, I can just do it. And that was the most frustrating thing ever, because everything came so easy to these guys, and I wanted it so bad. Anyway, throughout high school, I'd get these music magazines like Guitar Player and Downbeat, and I would see this ad for a perfect pitch course with this guy, David Lucas Burge, or something like that. And it sounded like a total scam, but I was desperate. I asked my parents. I think they could tell that it was a scam, so they said no. But actually, at that Berklee 5-week program, over the summer, somebody had a ripped copy of this course. And they said, you want to check it out? I said, absolutely, yes, right away. So I grabbed it. I made a ripped copy of the CD. I remember putting the CD into my CD player, and I threw my headphones on, laid down in my bed, and listened to this guy talk about F sharp. And how the sound of the F sharp was distinct, and it was bright, or it was dark, or edgy, or something, but it was different from all the other notes. And I kind of convinced myself that I could hear this distinction, but 5 minutes would go by and I'd completely forget it. I didn't make any progress with the course, and eventually I kind of just had to move on with my life and give up on the whole thing. And now I know for sure, as the research shows, that you don't develop perfect pitch later in life. It's something that you get when you're either you're born with it, or you develop it at a early age. Whatever the case may be, I didn't have it, I don't have it, but I will tell you this. Years later, when I went to do my undergrad at New England Conservatory of Music, I studied with the late, great Charlie Banakis. He was this odd guy, kind of a recluse. I had to travel to his house in Beverly, Massachusetts. It took like 2 hours to get there for a 30-minute lesson, but it was worth it. He was the guy. He was like the jazz Yoda. So I would trek out to him once a week, and he would do this ear training exercise with me. He did it with everybody. And you basically play a C major chord, an F major chord, a G major chord, and then a C major chord, just kind of setting up, establishing the key of C major, and then he would play any note on the keyboard without you knowing what it was, and you'd have to determine what it was. And this is, of course, relative pitch. And the thing is, that's kind of interesting, is that the note that he would play had a color, had this sort of unique distinction in the context of the key that he had just set up. So each scale degree had its own personality. And the whole point of the exercise was to get to become more and more familiar with that personality of each note. So level 1 was with 1 note, then level 2 was with 2 notes, and so on, all the way up to 11 notes at the same time. You'd have to say what all the notes were. And I asked him one day, I made some remark about, I bet people with perfect pitch get to 11 notes pretty quickly. And he said, yeah, sometimes people with perfect pitch do get there quicker, but even if you don't have perfect pitch and it takes you a couple extra years, by the time you're there, both the person with perfect pitch and the person without perfect pitch are at the same level, so it doesn't really make a difference. It doesn't matter. Both people have incredible ears, and that's really what counts at the end of the day. So at that point, I really dedicated myself to these ear training exercises, got my relative pitch really strong, and I was actually able to get to that point where I could hear something in my head and put it out onto my instrument without anything getting lost in translation. And I'm kind of glad it worked out this way, because if I had just been born with perfect pitch or developed it at a young age, yeah, that would be really cool. And I'd be kind of curious to know what that's like. But it's gratifying to know that I put in the work to get to where I am with my ears. And that experience, I think, it builds a little bit of character like most struggles do. One last thing, people with perfect pitch don't automatically have amazing ears. There's different levels of perfect pitch. And if you have relative pitch that's really, really developed, your ears can be stronger than somebody who has natural perfect pitch. Anyway, just wanted to share that story with you guys. Also, I want to mention that next week I'm going to be doing 2 free live online masterclasses. It's going to be Big Wins for Better Improv. If you haven't checked it out yet, I highly encourage you to do so. We're going to be talking about core principles of improvisation that will take your playing to the next level and beyond. I'm going to be doing 2 next week. One's going to be on Tuesday afternoon Eastern Time. That's going to be 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And then the other is going to be on Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So I'll post those times and those dates down below. And remember, if you want to attend the class, you have to register. So go to the link and I'll see you guys there. So thanks for watching. Bye-bye.